Hi everyone, and very glad to be here in this Paris conference with all what it represents, and I'll be talking in the Shakespeare language for this speech. I'll try to explain what we're trying to do in Paris in terms of economic development, in terms of attraction of investments, talking to the American investors and companies in this room, Canadian, also todos los latinos americanos que vi ayer y hoy en la conferencia. If I had been here 8 years ago and trying to have this speech, I'm not sure I would have a full room listening, or maybe polite people hearing, but not maybe believing what I might be saying after that. Things have changed in the past years, hopefully for France and for Paris more especially, and I'll try to explain where the way we've gone, where we are at, and what we're trying to build for the future. So first I'll explain how we moved from this place which was banned in any board of an American company to say that maybe Paris could be an option for investment. That was not possible, and even more if you were a French guy in this board, you could not push forward Paris, and so that will be the first part of what I'll be saying. The other part is really to explain what we're trying to build also in terms of after Brexit, the place of Paris in Europe, the openness we're trying to build, the responsibility we think that we also have, and with our transatlantic partners also, with Canada and with Asia, part of it at least. And maybe a last point around the quality of life, ESG and impact, and how we think all those topics together. So Paris in 2022 was for the first year ever, first in number of projects of foreign direct investments before London. So first in Europe, first in continental Europe, but first in Europe as a whole. I like to say that Great Britain is still in Europe, even if they're not in the EU anymore. Just one figure that struck me, the US investors represent 43% of the jobs created in Paris due to foreign direct investment. That's a global trend, it's not 1 year. Canada is around 2-3%. So we see where we stand, we see where we could go together. And the projects that are concerned are in very various sectors, but they're very much in the financial services sector, in the health sector also, digital services, luxury, complex systems, the audiovisual, aerospace also. So Latin America is very low, and we were talking that yesterday with Mexican investors and Colombian, and I think there are things to do. We know that the US is a natural entry for you guys, and also Spain, but France is really open also for more Latin American investment. There are a lot of cultural ties, and we are open for going further. After Brexit, EY says that, not me. France got, and Paris, the largest number of jobs due to the relocation of companies due to Brexit. So all the major American banks and Anglo-Saxon banks chose Paris for their major trading hubs in the EU. If you look at the number of entities in financial services, Paris is not first. Because at the beginning of Brexit, the CEOs of those banks, they tried to push strong for other jurisdictions, for Frankfurt, for Dublin, for Amsterdam. But then the traders and the people, they actually chose Paris. And you know that in our companies, we don't always get to decide everything. And that's what happens with Brexit. And actually the traders choose Paris. And after the CEOs saw that the business was there, that the revenues was here, that the talents maybe that's what they say most, was easy to find. And that's what in time made such that today Paris is, and you need to talk to those CEOs for Europe, for those banks, and for others, for American hedge funds. We also have National Australia Bank that chose Paris as a European hub for their European activities, funding of infrastructure and energy, etc. Several tax cuts have been implemented, and the government did a lot in that. The impatriate regime was extended to 8 years. It allows for the bonus linked to the expatriation to be exempt from income tax, so it's very strong motivation for the people that work in those banks. Also, the cap that was put on the amount of severance pay when you dismiss an employee. The rate of corporate tax, also Mr. Becht, the minister, said that earlier, that was down from 33.5% to 25%. Well, I won't be too long, but in finance, that was what happened, and that's what's happening, and we know how important it is in Europe to create this also maybe a more integrated front in terms of market structure. But Paris is really a very strong financial hub today, and very international one. If you walk in the 8th arrondissement, you hear many more foreigners in the banking sector that you did before. France used to be a the French financial sector, very French, and is today much more international, with more competition also from those banks. But maybe a word also on tech and. Paris is fourth in the world for the attraction of R&D centers in centers of R&D that are mobile internationally. CES is now the first event in the world to attract most attendees before Vivatech. Before CES. I looked at an interesting stat also. There are 60,000 talents in digital transformation if you look at LinkedIn Talent Insights. Second is London in Europe, 52,000. And then comes Madrid, it's 19,000. So there's a very large talent pool. The researchers also at an affordable price because of the tax credit for research, up to 100 million euros, which makes that the average salary of a researcher is 37% lower than the OECD average. And so not to be too long, we see that the tech in Paris is moving very fast. Obviously, there are concerns like everywhere else with the high interest rates and the capacity of those companies to get funded, but there is a very strong talent pool, universities, and that's very encouraging for the future. What we're also working on is manufacturing. We want more companies to work on manufacturing in Paris. May sound strange, but we have a very big tech cluster in Saclay, and we have land available also in other areas of the region. So we want to build around the future of our industries in health, in recycling, materials, in agro, in aerospace and defense, in energy, in hydrogen. So do not hesitate to come to us, even in those sectors. And we know that it's important for a company to have your clients close, your research close, and that's what we can offer. In terms of spirit, I really want to stress on that word of collaboration. We believe in this world which is divided, and that's the theme of today, that we need to keep those strong ties, those international ties, and we as agencies also work together. Know it, in Europe we work together. We were at Collision in Canada together with 14 other European regions under the banner Choose Europe, and and the people came to us and said, "But what are you doing? I mean, who are you? What is this?" And maybe the surprise was also the first attitude, but then the interest, and so we work together in many aspects. It's an informal network, but we can really support the development of investors and companies all across Europe and facilitate their expansion. Last words on quality of life, maybe the Olympic Games and our ESG agenda. We do not try to go into like numbers is not what we want in terms of investment. We really want to measure, we're measuring in terms of sustainable development goals of the UN, all the investments that we support, and we want the best investments in each category, and we go deep into measuring the impact. For instance, in real estate, we work with LBCA at the European level to implement new measures in terms of what is a responsible real estate investment, and we do the same in all the other sectors. And we want quality of life for our citizens here. Paris, it's 40 million mobility transfers every day of people. Just to say that with the Olympic Games, we are building new districts. That was true in London. You will see that also in Paris. It will be truly incredible that what we are building, and we are very proud of that. A new district. You just need to go to Saint-Ouen today. Even the Parisians don't know that it's connected by line 14 already today to the center of Paris and Châtelet, and soon in 2014 we'll go up to Saint-Denis Pleyel, which will be the new hub of Paris, the new Châtelet, with 4 metro automatic lines crossing there, and up, down, south, up to Orly, our European link to the rest of the EU. And so all this new environment, the largest district low carbon in Europe, which will be the Olympic Village, without climatization in 2050, not more than 2 days, more than 28 degrees in those housing units. So it's really the best of what we can imagine in terms of low carbon energy and low carbon building construction. So this is the kind of inspiration that we want to show. And all these achievements are not done only by French companies. They are the work of French and international companies. So that will be my conclusion. We are open for investments, and not any kind of investments. If you were looking for having a true environmental and future-proof footprint, choose Paris, and choose Paris as a connected hub to Europe and North America, obviously. Thanks very much.